In this video, we are going to be looking at a standard maximization problem. We are trying to use Simplex Tableaux to solve a question of a linear programming. And if you want to solve this quickly, what you just have to do is to identify your variable to be maximized. Look at the question we have here. This is the variable to be maximized. You can see it's there. Then the next thing for you is just to get your constraints and the number of constraints you have. Because the number of constraints you have is going to determine the number of slab variable you're going to have. Now, take it again. I said the number of constraints you have is going to determine the number of slab variables you have. Please hold that. I'm going to ask you. Now, this first row is your first constraint. This second row is your second constraint. Now, can you tell me now? We have how many constraints here? The first constraint and the second constraint. 2, right? So how many slab variables are we going to have? Oh, did you say 3? No. I told you the number of your constraints will determine the number of slack variables. So we are going to have 2 because we have 2 constraints. Now quickly now we just have to draw our table now. Let's quickly draw that. So in drawing that table we are going to use the variables. We have variable 1, variable 2, variable 3. We have 3 variables here. So x1, x2, x3. Because this is the first constraint, we are going to have a slack 1 here. Second constraint, we are going to have a slack 2 here. So this will be S1, we have S2, then we have Z. That's the variable to be maximized. Now, having done this now, then I will pick the coefficients now of each of the variables. For the first row, I pick 2 for the x1, 3 for the x2, 2 for the x3, the slack 1. When the slack variable is there, you make it 1. Slack 2 is not there, you make it 0. For the Z is not there, you make it 0. For the there is constant variable, the constant here is 1000. Then this is going to be my slack 1. Then I go to the slack 2. That is the second constraint. Second constraint. The coefficient here is 1. Coefficient here is 2. Slack 1 is not here, it's going to be 0. Slack 2 is there, it's going to be 1. For this Z is not there, it's going to be 0. The constant is 800. So this is going to be for the variable to be maximized. So what I'm going to do now for the variable to be maximized, I will take all of the values here down to the left to meet the Z. Z is this is the left, this is the right. So all of this from here to here is right. I take it down to here so that the sign will change. So if I take this to this place, it will become -7. The plus 8 to here is going to be -8. Plus 10 to this place is going to be -10. Z is already on that side. It's going to be Z. Then I fix it here. -7 for the x1, -8, -10. There's no slack variable here. 0, no 0. But we have Z is going to be 1. Constant is 0. Quickly now, what you have to do now is just to get your, after you have done this, you have to get your pivot column. So how do you get your pivot column? So if you want to get your pivot column, look for the number with highest negative. So which is, that's highest negative I'm talking about. It's going to be from the bottom row. Look at the bottom row. Look at the bottom row. Then check the one with the highest negative, which is here. So that is a pivot column. Pivot, this is the pivot column. This column, pivot column. Now, after we've gotten our pivot column, the next thing to find is to get your pivot elements. So how do you get your pivot element? So you divide each of the constants by their corresponding number on the pivot column. So 1000 is the corresponding one. It's going to be 1000 divided by 2 on the pivot column, which is 500. 800 divided by this corresponding number on the pivot column, which is 2. That's going to be 800 divided by 2. It's going to be 400. Now you now look for the lower one out of the 2. The lower one, then when you get the lower one, its corresponding number on the pivot column is your pivot element. So the corresponding of the lower one here is 2 in the pivot column. So that's our pivot elements. That's our pivot elements. That's our pivot elements. Now, having gotten our pivot element, so this is where you need to listen very well. You need to listen very well here. So we are going to form another table. We are going to form another table here. So in forming that table, we need to get new row 1, new row 2, new row 3. So the new row 2 is what we are going to do first. So how do you do that? To get your new row 2, what you're going to do is, you will convert this and ensure that whatever you have here must turn to 1. So what are you going to use to make this to become 1? You're going to use what? To make this to become 1. What are you going to use? You're going to use 1 over 2. 1 over 2 divided by 2 will give you 1. So it is that 1 over 2 you're going to use, which must affect all the numbers here, must affect all the number, on this second row. So this is what I'm saying. You're going to get it now. Because I'm using 1 over 2 to convert this one to 1, I'm going to write 1 over 2 times row 2. So let me quickly form the table now. Write your variable back, x1, x2, x3, slack 1, slack 2, then z. So what am I going to do now? Let's say this is my row 1, row 2, row 3. So I'm starting with row 2 first. You can see. Now I'll tell you the reason. How am I starting my row 2? Now when I'm starting my row 2 now, I'm going to start from 1 over 2 times 1. This is going to be 1 over 2. Then for this, 1 over 2 times 1 again is going to be 1 over 2. Then for this, 1 over 2 times 2 is going to give us 1. Pivot element, right? Okay? Now, then 1 over 2 times 0 here is going to give us 0. Then 1 over 2 times 1 here is going to give us 1 over 2. And then 1 over 2 times 0 here is going to give us 0. Right? Now, 1 over 2 times 800 here is going to give us 400. 400. Please just look at it very well. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm doing? Yes. So this is 400. This is 400. Please look at it very well. This is 400. 400. Now, then after we have gotten our this row 2, then we now start to get the other rows. That's the first thing you are going to get. That's one of the that row that has 5 elements is what you are going to solve first, and that's what we have done. Then we can also, and when we are solving the other ones, we have row above and below. You must ensure that that number above the pivot element must become 0, and the number below the pivot element must become 0 also. So to get S1 now, what are we going to use to make this 2 to become 0? It's plus 2, so we are going to use minus 2. So to form this S1, a new one, we are going to be having new S1 equals minus 2, because we are using minus 2 to convert this one to 0. Minus 2 times R2 plus R1. Now let's start the operation now. I take it now. Minus 2 times R2. The R2 I'm using now, I'm using the new R2. That's what I'm using. So I'll be saying minus 2 times 1 over 2. That's going to give me minus 1. Then I will say minus 1 plus R1 plus R1. Minus 1 plus 2. Minus 1 plus 2, that's going to give me 1. That's how you get it. Do you understand that? You get it now. Let me take it again. I'm doing this now. Minus 2 times R2. Now, the R2 here is going to be the R2, minus 2 times R2. The R2 I'm using, don't forget, is the new one. So it's going to be minus 2 times 1 over 2. It's going to be giving me minus 1. Minus 1 plus R1. Minus 1 plus R1, which is here. Minus 1 plus 3, which is going to be what? Minus 1 plus 3 is going to be 2. Do you understand? Do you understand what I'm doing? Okay? Now, for this x3 now, for the x3 here, I will take it from here again. Minus 2 times R2, which is minus 2 times 1 here, which is minus 2. Then minus 2 plus R1, which is minus 2 plus 2, is going to give us 0. Then let's go to this slack now. Minus 2 times R2 for the slack 1, that is going to be minus 2 times 0. That's going to be 0. Then 0 plus 1 here. 0 plus 1 here is going to be 1. Then for the S2 now, minus 2 times R2, we are using this. Minus 2 times this now is going to give us what? Minus 1. Minus 1. The minus 1 times 0. Minus 1 times 0 is going to be 0. Therefore, the Z. Minus 2 times R2. What is R2? Which is here. It's going to be 0. 0 plus what? 0 plus 0. 0 plus 0. 0. Then minus 2 times 400 is going to be minus 800. Minus 800 plus R1 is going to be 200. 200. Do you understand? Do you understand? Let me check this. Let's check this. Let's check this. Let's check this again. For the S2, minus 2 times R2. Our R2 is here. This minus 2 times R2, which is minus 1, right? Minus 1. Minus 1 plus minus 1 plus 0 is going to be minus 1 plus 0. Minus 2 times R2. That is going to be minus 1. Minus 1 plus 0. That is going to be minus 1. This is going to be minus 1. Minus 1. Please look at it very well. Minus 1. Now, the last one here, this is the row 3. The row 3, to get the row 3. So we take it again. We have to make this one to be 0 also. Don't forget. So to make this one 0, we need 10. So new row 3 now will give us positive 10. Of course, we need positive 10 to make this negative 10 to be 0. So 10 times R2 again plus R3. So we start. Don't just relax. You're going to get it right now. Now this is 10 now. We are starting from here. 10 times R2. We are using here. This is going to give you 5. 10 times 1 over 2 is going to give you 5. Then 5 plus minus 7, 2. That's going to be minus 2. This is going to be minus 2. Then again, you're taking again 10 times R2. 10 times R2 for this one is going to be 5. Then 5 plus minus 3 is going to be minus 8. That's going to be minus 3. Minus 3. Then we take it for this again. 10 times 1, which is 10. Then 10 plus 2. No, 10 plus minus 10, which is going to give us 10 plus minus 10, this is going to give us 0. Now we take this again quickly. 10 times we are solving for S1 now. S1. 10 times this is going to give us 0. Then 0 plus 0 here is going to be 0. So we are going for S2. 10 times R2, which is under S2. 10 times this is going to be 5. Then 5 plus R3. 5 plus we are dealing with S2. 5 plus 0, that's going to be 5. It's going to be 5. Then the last one here, okay, Z here. Then Z here, that's going to be 10 times 0 here, 0, plus R3, plus R3, plus R3, which is 1. It's going to be 1. It's going to be 1. Then 10 times R2, okay, that's 1. Then this is going to be, okay, let's say 10 times R2, which is 4,000, 10 times out, which is 4,000, that is 10 times 400, that is 4,000, then 4,000 plus R3. Where's our R3? 4,000 plus, yeah, 4,000, this is going to be 4,000. Now, this is our simplest tableau. But are we going to stop here? We cannot stop until all the value on the bottom row becomes 0 or positive. So we still have negative here, we still have negative, until we don't have any negative here before we stop. So it means that we are going to start another table entirely. This we are going to do in our next video. Please, after you have watched this, you can use the method to form your second table, and if you don't mind, you can check our next video. We are going to solve it. We are going to continue the solving in the next video. Please subscribe and get more of our video.